I think we're live.
Hello. Hello, world.
Hello, world. Hello, everybody. Well, Stefan Milo, how are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having
Awesome.
me on. This is exciting.
Awesome. It's exciting stuff. It's
I'm
exciting
excited to
stuff.
be here. Are we in the woods? Can the viewers see
We're in the
this?
woods, man. We are. Let's get. Okay, here we go. Well, you're looking a lot more high definition than I am.
I don't know how or why.
Oh,
This is just the camera from my laptop.
I'm getting a bit of an echo for some reason. Are you getting
From
an
me.
echo?
Echo
Yeah.
from me.
I'm just going to take these out.
Could be. Could be. I'm in
Oh,
quite a spacious studio.
technical
I don't know
problems,
how
everybody.
I don't know. What's the audience saying about the audio? Can they hear me okay? Is it super echoey? Ba, 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 ba.
For some reason, Stefan, I'm hearing you, and then I'm hearing both of us talking over it. Why would that be happening?
Probably. Do you have the live stream open on a web page, on a separate web page?
I do. That's why.
Yeah,
So it was So it was coming out of the
You're hearing
it
me
was coming out of
twice.
two different channels. There we go. Sorted. Thanks,
Yeah.
Stefan.
No
You
worries.
are you're the resident archaeology expert and also IT guy.
Oh well, I did used to work in IT. Can you believe
Oh,
that?
did you?
Yeah, I was
I know that you
literally the
worked.
world's worst IT employee ever
I'm sure
because
you
I have
were.
an archaeology degree. I don't know anything about computers.
That's like millennials, isn't it? We all do degrees and then do something else with our degree.
Yeah.
I know. I remember you saying you worked in a bank.
I did. Yeah, that's where I was in the IT department. Yeah,
Ah, it was IT in the bank. Nice.
IT in
And
the back.
that's it. Was that
You're
in
not
Portland then?
me. Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon, where I am now.
Yeah. So it's what, like 11 a.m. or something where you are?
Mm-hmm. 11 in the
Nice.
morning. Just got back from the gym. Can you believe that?
Oh man, getting those gains. Love it.
Trying to. I need to get in shape, man. I've let my dad persona take hold too strongly, and I need to get fit again.
It's similar for me. I mean, doing what we do, we spend a lot of time hunched over laptops and
Yeah,
hunched over books and all that kind of stuff. I've been going
exactly.
to the
Yeah,
gym as well. Actually, it's important as we get older. Got to keep the
it is.
old body moving.
I've
Yeah.
been playing pickleball as well. I know. I'm actually quite obsessed with it now. My channel is this close from becoming a pickleball channel, actually, and abandoning archaeology.
Wow, the archaeology of racket sports.
Yeah, I might have to do something like that. I'm a big racket sports guy. That's a bit of Stefan Milo lore for the
I'm a
viewers.
badminton guy myself primarily.
I think that's the
Really,
hardest racket sport. I'm not gonna lie, for me.
it's See, I was playing it when I was a kid, so it's like still okay as an adult. I find tennis quite hard because that's
Tennis is hard,
polar opposite than badminton.
but badminton, the head of the racket is so far from my hand. Like I keep
Yeah, it
just
is.
missing like
It
that's the
is. It is.
challenge.
And it means that any other racket sport you play, you hit it way too hard because badminton, you've got to just get that shuttlecock and you just hit it as hard as you possibly can. Well, I do anyway.
Yeah,
Terrible technique. Yeah.
just in it for the
So,
power.
how's things?
Great. Soldiering on, trying to crank out archaeology video after archaeology video.
Yeah, you've been quite prolific recently.
Well, it comes in fits and starts. Like, I wish I was on a schedule where a video came out every week instead of like 3 weeks
Yeah.
of nothing and then 2 in the same week.
Every week is intense, though. My God.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it, honestly. I think at that point to make a video every week, I think you have to drastically reduce the scope of the videos you're making.
Yeah, I think so too.
Or someone has to be helping you with the research. Like, it's not
Yeah.
possible to research a brand new topic every week. Really,
Yeah.
that's so hard.
Yeah. But also, I wouldn't want to do that because the research is my favorite part. So I like to sort of sit in the research for a bit, get stuck in, explore a few different elements, and then I'll often not even go down a lot of the routes that I'm looking at. But it's nice to
Yeah.
just know that they're there.
I relate to that so much, man. My favorite part of creating a video is at the start when you've got the idea and there's a whole world of possibilities and your like ability as a filmmaker doesn't come into it yet.
Yeah,
It's just like
100%.
you're just exploring it. I'm sure we've both got like insane lists and folders of video ideas with resources and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's outrageous. I mean, I'll half write something and then just leave it to one side, and I think this is like the best thing ever, and then it's 5 years and nothing comes of it, and I just forget about it.
Yeah, I've really been trying not to do that. I am guilty of that myself.
It's hard,
but I'm really trying to just be a little bit less precious. Not like be precious with video quality and research and all of that, but just think like, this is my idea. I'm just going to make this idea. When it's done, I'm on to the next one, but it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard.
It is hard. But because it's all just so ridiculously fascinating.
Yeah. I know. Well, what's hard for me is I want to start making videos about paleontology too and geology, which is something I don't have, any education in really.
Yeah.
But I should have a video on paleontology out next month, hopefully.
Oh, very cool.
So I've done the interviews for it. I did the interviews at the end of last year, but it's just hard to switch into that mindset of a totally different topic.
It's so different. Yeah. The dating system as well, completely different, and it's just, it's cool. Cause I mean, me and David, we have history of the earth, which is kind of paleontology, natural history, geology, but we have a researcher and a writer who does it all, and she's amazing, Layla Batterson. So we can just basically go along for the ride that Layla takes us on. So fascinating. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I'm
just waiting for dinosaurs, basically.
I need to make more videos about dinosaurs.
Yeah, it might be another 5 years before we get there, because there's a lot before, but we'll get there eventually. And then you've got the Permian period as well, which is like dinosaurs before dinosaurs.
Yeah,
sort of giant monsters.
I know. You guys need to spin up another channel, man. Dinosaur Time. Or something.
I mean, honestly, I could see History of the Earth becoming just like a dinosaur channel one day. So
when you hit that point, there's a lot to talk about, right? It's going to be hard to skip over.
I don't think we'll ever leave the
dinosaurs.
Cretaceous, Jurassic, Triassic.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably talk about some ancient monuments.
Probably. Give the viewers what they want.
Yeah. So there's a big chat going on. Someone's saying I should increase my volume a bit. What do you think? Shall I turn it up a little bit?
Do it.
Turn it up a little bit. How's that? Is that better?
Sounds good to me.
So Arthur Miller says, enough chit chat. Tell us about how aliens built the pyramids.
Well, they just vaporized them, man. They just vaporized them. They just elevated the sand and just zapped them into being.
Lasers.
Apparently someone is saying your sound is still lower than mine.
Okay. Turn it up a little bit more. Is that better?
Is that better? Do we sound the same?
All of you lovely people in the chat, you might be able to tell I don't really know what I'm doing.
Okay, I think you hit it. It sounds like...
Hit it. Okay,
yeah.
Good. Cool. Yeah. Stefan is much more of a professional than me.
Well, quite. No argument here. Just teasing.
And as a interesting fun fact for you all, Stefan and I actually hail from the same English county.
Well, I was going to bring that up, man, with one of the monuments. We
are both proud sons of Worcester.
Oh, yes. Extremely proud.
Or, as some Americans may say, Worcestershire.
Oh, man. Yeah, I listened to a podcast the other day. I have this American podcast I listen to, and by some quirk of fate, they were talking about Worcestershire sauce.
Oh.
And it did make a native son of Worcester, as I am. It did make my ears bleed.
Yeah. But it's pronunciations are like I'm very bad at pronunciations, and I've probably offended many thousands of people the world over. So I deserve
Yeah,
people to say Worcestershire.
it's true.
I deserve it.
It's true. Yeah, it's unavoidable. I
Yeah.
don't actually know how to say 3 of the sites that I've sent to you. Really, I don't actually know how to say them.
Good stuff. I think I've chosen mostly simple names,
Yeah.
just primarily to help myself out. All right,
Well,
cool. Sorry, you go on.
no, I was just gonna say I was really trying to find sites that maybe people hadn't heard of, just to make it interesting for the viewers.
Yeah, same.
So,
So, do you want to go first?
all right, I'm happy
Which
to
one?
go first.
So, let's get you little. Okay. So, which site are you going to go for first?
I'm gonna go for, as we both just mentioned, our beloved county of Worcestershire, Arthur's Stone. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Awesome.
I-
Okay. I'll just
Right.
do some technical wizardry here. Here we are.
Here we go. License from
Arthur's
Getty.
Stone,
I did license
everybody.
at Getty. Okay. Now,
Of course you did.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you have strong opinions about the county of Herefordshire, Pete, but
They are the enemy.
they are sort of our enemy. Yes. If our county has any enemy, it is them.
The
But
ancient enemy.
it is, as much as I hate to admit it, an absolutely beautiful county. And Arthur's, oh yeah, it's stunning. And Arthur's Stone here, as you might be able to tell, is what is left of a Neolithic tomb. These sprouted up all over Western Europe. And at least as far as I'm aware, every time they are investigated genetically, if they have human remains left inside them, they seem to be, family tombs, particularly the male line of the families are well represented in these things. And I've actually been to this one because it's only about a half an hour drive from where we live. And what I love about this, well, first of all, let me say the name, Arthur's Stone. It is connected to some Arthurian legends, apparently. You can kind of see there's some cracks and some markings on the big capstone at the top there. Apparently, King Arthur killed a giant, and the giant fell here and smashed the rock. So there is some local Arthurian legend connected to it. I don't know where that comes from, to be perfectly honest with you, but that's how it has the name Arthur's Stone. It was apparently also influenced. Is it Aslan is the lion from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Oh, yeah.
So this apparently was the place where C.S. Lewis sort of imagined Aslan standing, living, like it's the inspiration for his altar, something like that.
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah, so it is sort of connected to local folklore and local stories by authors. But why I picked this monument in particular is, to me, is representative of these special kind of places where the mists of time, I'm getting a bit poetic here, the mists of time are not quite so misty. As you can see, it's still like a very rural landscape in Herefordshire. If you know the county, it's one of the most rural counties in England, especially in our area. And when I last went there, I went there sort of early in the morning, and there was a big gang of sheep around that fence that you can see in that picture there. And it's almost like you can imagine the scene has not changed that much since the Neolithic. Now, granted, the Neolithic farmers didn't drive up there in a Volkswagen Golf, so that was a lot really the Neolithic vibe. But it really, you're standing by this ancient tomb, you're looking out there at the landscape. All you can see is just trees and fields and sheep. Couldn't see a single person there. You can't even see a single house from the viewpoint. And yeah, I just wonder, could you pluck a Neolithic person, 5,000 years into the future, and would they think, oh, my house hasn't changed that much. That's kind of nice. It's still basically the same as how it was when I was there. So, I don't have anything special to say, but there are places around the world where, like Pompeii would be perhaps another great example, where history doesn't seem that long ago. I don't know. Am I being too poetic there, Pete?
No, I think you're not being poetic enough. I think you should always be poetic about these things.
Yeah.
I could just add that the giant folklore is all over Britain, and it's super interesting. And I don't know if you know that basically it's in Geoffrey of Monmouth that the original people who inhabited Britain were giants. And the Britons came along from ancient Troy, led by a guy called Brutus, and he gave his name to the island. It's all very garbled and it's quite nonsensical. But
Yeah.
there are giants associated with everywhere, kind of all up the west of Britain, mostly in the west because it's where the Anglo-Saxons didn't really conquer, or conquered a bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, King Arthur, battling giants. This is not alone. There's many sites all up the west coast of Britain that have a similar kind of story.
I'm sure. I mean, it's so hard to. We live in a world so full of information. It's so hard to cast our mind back to even just, I don't know, 150 years ago. They were just not bombarded by information like we are, and it's so accessible. And how you sort of imagine the world that you live in when you have almost no information about it is quite incredible, really.
Yeah, we are completely bombarded. We're not built for it. It's confusing. I think it's possibly why things seem to be quite divided. People seem to be kind of like very aggy and things today because we're just bombarded by so much stuff constantly.
It's a bit much, yeah.
It's a bit much. We shouldn't be. Well, I mean, I say we shouldn't be. Any time in the past, before 50 years ago, people wouldn't know about a big forest fire going on in like the other side of the world. It wouldn't
No
be a
clue.
thing. No clue. And it's there's nothing you can do about that forest fire. But yeah,
I even think about like when my granddad was a little bit older than my grandma. So my granddad was actually born in 1901, and which is quite a long time ago.
Good year.
There's only 2 generations between me and the end of the Victorian period is quite remarkable, really.
I love this.
But but a lot of his family moved to Australia, sort of in the 1920s, and even though it was part of the British Empire and all of that, it was basically like, well, bye forever. We're never going to see or hear from you again because you're off to literally the other side of the world.
No way. Same in my family as well. A bunch of them came from Wales, from South Wales, the Bevans. They went to Australia, and then some of them, I think, like a couple came back, but most are still there.
Yeah, that's for that generation. That's probably a lot of stories like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really was. Yeah, but
and yeah, crazy to think that we're only separated from the Victorian era by 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah, my granddad was literally born in the Victorian period.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, the last couple of months of it, but still, it is kind of remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I often wonder. I mean, generations seem to move quite quickly today. Would that have been the case in the Neolithic, or is it kind of just like there's no conception of the same kind of passing of time? Do things remain a little bit more?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? When you see medieval art of the Roman period, like they knew the Roman period existed, but they often portray them in medieval clothes, right? Because they don't have this idea of how people looked in the past. Maybe they had an idea that fashion changed, but they had no way of knowing what Roman fashion was. Yeah. So they just drew them in like medieval armor. And so, you can't help but think, on the one hand, they didn't have the concept of time passing, but on the other hand, at some point, the Neolithic people came to Britain from the continent. And so at some point, it feels like someone would have had to have made a drastic decision and a drastic change. But by the time they're building this monument in Hereford, did they have any even understanding of any of that? It's interesting.
It is. And another interesting one is kind of when like a new group enters an area and then they appropriate some of the archaeological sites for themselves. And you think they're not actually genetically related to the people in these monuments, but they kind of think that they are. So like Vikings coming across to Britain, then putting their burial grounds on top of an ancient Bronze Age burial site. And they kind of like think that they're their own ancestors.
Well,
interesting stuff. It's
very interesting.
Quick, I think, for people to lose history as well, and like lose sight of what really happened, and then myth kind of becomes the reality.
Yeah. I was thinking, I don't know what you've picked, but I was almost thinking of picking a tell as one of my monuments. And they are so incredible because they're just like the accumulation of human activity, right? They're these huge hills that are just, 6,000 years of people living in mud brick houses. And
just over and over and over
again. Yeah. And after sort of a few thousand years, the families living on top of this hill probably had no idea that the hill they lived on was just once a village flat on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like, did they have any concept of that? It's remarkable, really, that these things could just be, they're almost like human termite mounds in a way.
They are.
It's pretty incredible. But yeah, that's my first pick, Arthur's Stone.
It's pretty wild. Awesome. Let's see what I've got. Oh, move that away.
No spoilers.
Sneak preview there. What should we go for first? Okay. Let's go for something that's going to take it to a slightly different scale. One moment. Okay.
Oh, I almost picked these.
I mean, these are just incredible. Many of you might be aware of what these are. This is an example of a Kofun tomb from Japan, which dates to about 1,500 years ago or so. So it's kind of like almost early medieval Japan in a way, except Japan has a completely different chronology of history to basically everywhere else. These things basically pop up all over the country. There are thousands of them. I think probably tens of thousands, if not maybe even hundreds of thousands. They're everywhere. But in modern day Osaka, they look like this, and it's just absolutely huge. So if you can see on the bottom there, these are like skyscrapers, and it's like dwarfing everything. I've got some measurements here. This one is the Daisen-ryo Kofun tomb. It is 74 acres in size.
Wow.
Compared to the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is 13 acres, so it's much bigger.
You can kind of see like the office blocks down there that are huge, probably, and they wouldn't even be like the corner of this monument.
No, and let's have a look at... Oh, this is a good picture, actually. So this shows kind of like what it would have looked like compared to what's there now. And like this is an important person who's buried in here. And an interesting thing about most of these are, I think all of them, there's one individual. So it's like this is kind of like a king or a queen or a figure of great importance. Not very similar to Stephen's tomb, which
bit of a bigger scale.
A communal grave, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stone. These Neolithic tombs, communal burials.
So this is a single grave, and And you can see all around it, there's like much smaller ones. These are kind of like the normal sized, basically. But this one is absolutely gigantic. So it's on the same scale as Great Pyramid of Giza and also the mausoleum of the first emperor of China.
Yeah.
So it's like top 3 biggest tombs in the entire world. And it's never been excavated.
I was just wondering that.
It's
Yeah.
never been excavated. So this is why I've chosen it, because I like a site, just to continue on from Stefan's poetic kind of thing. I like a site that's never been excavated because this has got so much potential for the future.
Yeah. But maybe we should leave it unexcavated.
Well,
you know what I mean?
This is the thing in Japan. They don't want to excavate many of these things. Some of them have been excavated, but the important ones. This, for example, is traditionally associated with one of the emperors, one of the first emperors. What was his name? Emperor Nintoku. So one of the first emperors of Japan is allegedly buried in there. The Japanese don't want to dig into it, but potentially in the future there may be like non-invasive methods that can be used.
Yeah, it would be great to, I mean, maybe that's what they did and that's why they have the outline of it, but it would be great to zap it with some LiDAR and see if any of these earthworks are still intact, you know.
Yeah,
that would be
I don't know if LiDAR's been done on it. I visited this place and it's mind-blowing because I'll show you a picture of what it looks like from the ground. I mean, a lot of people, most people don't really know that it's there. So this is actually a much smaller one, but that's what it looks like from the ground. That's what these massive Kofun tombs look like from the ground.
Yeah.
Covered in trees, kind of to protect them. These were planted in like the 1800s. And there it is. You wouldn't even know that. You'd kind of think it was a hill.
Yeah, what this is a really great example of, and you see this with the Nazca too, is ancient people building something that looks way better from the air.
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, I'm not
100%.
saying it's ancient aliens, obviously, or ancient astronauts, but it's just an interesting thing that people would do. Yep. You know, they have this like keyhole shape to them, Kofun. Like that's very common shape for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like there's almost a platform. So it looks like people could gather on the top for some reason, like whether they're having a ceremony, to venerate the dead, or even consult the dead, possibly. There's like a ceremonial platform almost. Another thing I was going to say about these things is all around the outside. So like there's layers on the very top, and then on the second layer and the third layer of these things called haniwa. So they are clay sculptures of all sorts of things. These are kind of like spirits, but they have haniwa of mounted warriors, men, women, all sorts of animals, and it's like they're kind of protecting the tomb. They're like tomb guardians.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, one like this, there's like tens of thousands of haniwa. Just wild amounts of them. So you must have had guys. Yeah, you must have had guys just pumping out these things en masse to be put onto this grave. So it's such an investment of resources.
Maybe this is
just wild.
Oh, they're accumulating over time as well.
Could be.
People coming back year after year.
Could be.
The people. Some of the people want to know what's the name of this site again, Pete.
This one is. This particular one is Daisenryo Kofun.
Kofun.
The Kofun of the Emperor Nintoku. In Osaka. But if you... let's have another picture. Here we go. Here's another good one. Because this shows... As Stefan said, yeah, they look crazy from the air. Look at that. So there's a big one. But then there's like other ones that are almost as big.
They're still probably huge. They're just not
still
as
massive.
Huge. Yeah.
They're still absolutely massive. I mean, this is just... It's so wildly massive that you can't even really fathom that it is a tomb. But you got to think back in the day, it wouldn't be covered in trees. It would be covered in these haniwa. So it would look really impressive back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I wonder what that
yeah,
that shape is about. I wonder where that came from.
yeah, yeah, and it's got a moat as well.
Yeah,
So is it kind of like sort of separated from the rest of the world? Is it
yeah,
like in a different plane of existence because it's got that water around it? Is it like ceremonially pure because it's inside there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're
But yeah,
fascinating,
basically,
man.
this is a wildly different society than Neolithic Britain, for example, because this is a single grave culture. So
Mm.
this Kofun culture, essentially, not quite, but it's kind of associated with agriculture. So agriculture comes to Japan very late, in like 300, 200 BC, which is super late.
Oh, that
Super
recent.
late. Yeah, yeah,
That
super.
is.
So
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that, you have the Jomon culture. They're all hunter gatherers, and there's very little metallurgy as well. So kind of like everything happens in Japan at once, really. Agriculture arrives, metallurgy arrives, and within a few hundred years, you have these crazy, massive tombs and
Yeah.
swords and warfare and horses and wealth accumulation, basically. So it's a very unequal society, very, very unequal.
Interesting.
And there's also interesting stuff about these things in the Chinese sources because they were speaking to the continent. And the
Yeah.
Chinese, there's like a shaman queen that the Chinese talk about. Can't think of what her name is, but interesting insight into what the rulers of this society may have been. They may have been kind of like religious leaders as well as political leaders.
Probably. That
Mm.
wouldn't surprise me at all. Can
So
I
almost
ask?
like, sorry, you go on.
No, I was just going to ask. Can you get to these islands, or are you not allowed to cross that moat?
That's a big no-no.
That's a big no. Okay, interesting.
I think that if you tried to get to one, people would lose their flipping minds.
Yeah.
Japan is possibly the greatest country I've ever visited. I absolutely loved it, but you don't break the rules.
I've got to get over there, to be honest.
If you break the rules, people are not happy.
Yeah, no, I've got to get over there. That's like top on my list of places to visit. The problem is
Amazing country.
when you live away from your home country, as I do, I spend all my holidays in Worcester.
I bet. No, I
Yeah.
would do the same. Yeah, I would do
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
But I've got to try and sneak over to Japan at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you could go around over the Pacific, couldn't you? You're sort of
Yeah,
as
there's
close
direct
as
flights
I
from
am.
Portland
Yeah,
every week.
yeah.
you
What would
know.
it be like? 9 hours, 10 hours?
Probably about 10 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
I
too
flew
bad.
to Vietnam direct from California. That was 16 hours.
Ooh,
That was a
that's
long
got to be
one.
one of the longest flights.
Probably with 2 young kids as well.
Oh,
It was a long one.
intense,
Yeah.
intense. Yeah. Cool. So that's the Mozu tombs, and yeah, these are, as I said, all over the country. Tens of thousands of them. Most
Yeah.
of them unexcavated. Super interesting.
They're beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Very cool. And yeah, let's go back to your next one then.
All right. Well, as we just mentioned, accumulating wealth there. Let's talk about rye stones. I hope I'm saying that correctly. These are sometimes called yap coins. And these are much smaller scale than a Japanese kofun for sure. But they are extremely interesting. We're going to build
Sorry,
up the
man. Let me
tension.
just say the name again.
Rye stones, yap coins, sometimes they're called. Did I send that one to you? Rye stones, yap coins.
May have missed that one off the list somehow. I've got 6 folders that you sent.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you might have missed this one. All right. Let's do lock, marry, care, and I'll find a way to send that one to you later on.
All right, cool. Sorry about that. We'll sort it out in a moment. Oh, here we go.
Can we do the other picture first? The other picture.
Oh wow! Look at this.
Let
Incredible.
me see here. 1 second. There's something. So, oh no, another picture. Did I give you the picture? Oh no, this is where I find out I didn't give you the right picture.
I've got 2 pictures for this one.
Ah, damn it. Damn it. Let me
If you either I can Google it and grab it, or you can just send me an email with the name, and I can just do a little Google.
All right, let me throw it with this. I'll email this one to you quickly.
All right, cool. I'll just stall for time.
All right, it should be in your email. That. No dead air. No dead air. My mum always said I had a face for radio.
Here we. Oh, okay. This is an interesting looking site.
This is an interesting one. Yeah.
Hold on, folks.
Speaking of big monuments,
Here we go. Crikey,
so
that's a big one.
This is in Brittany. It's called the Broken Menhir of Gra, or at least that's how I would pronounce the words. And it's in Brittany, which is one of the real centers of prehistoric megalithic construction in Europe.
Karnak.
Yes, I don't think anywhere did it as well as Brittany, to be honest. Well, for some reason, when they got to Brittany, they were just like, let's move big rocks, and thousands of them. But this is actually the biggest rock ever moved in prehistoric Europe. This would have been one rock standing up, and it was about 20.6 meters tall, 68 foot for American viewers, and weighed 330 tons.
Wow.
Which I forgot to look this up beforehand, but what's like the average weight of an Egyptian, what are they called?
Obelisk.
Obelisk, yeah.
I'm not sure, but that's got to be similar, surely.
Okay, so the Lateran obelisk in Rome, an Egyptian obelisk in Rome, weighs about 400 tons. So yeah, it's in the same. And
this one is how much?
330.
It's similar, same ballpark.
So it's the same. Yeah, it's the same ballpark as what ancient Egyptians and Romans were lifting. Biggest rock ever moved in Neolithic Europe. I know, just one guy did it. It's just the giant that Arthur fought.
Yeah. But you, all right, okay. You could see why people might think that these things were associated with giants, right? Because they're like,
oh yeah,
huge stones.
Yeah.
If you're just a peasant living in a mud hut, like after this, or like a wooden hut, you'd be like, wow, giant did that.
Yeah, you can easily see that. Especially if you...
Well, we still think it today, don't we, sometimes?
Well, people... Yeah, lots of people still
Lots of people.
Yeah. It's... So what's interesting about this one as well, this would have been the tallest of a row of 18 stones, going from basically smallest to largest, I believe. And...
Do we still have the other 17, or are they lost?
Or the other 19. I'm not entirely sure. I think they may be lost for the same reason. It seems that this one fell over in the Neolithic period, or maybe even in the Bronze Age. And if you go to some of the other pictures I sent you, we'll be able to see why, or why archaeologists think that might be the case. So this tomb here, this is sort of a passage tomb over there, probably from the Bronze Age, I think, because there's like carvings of axes in there. Maybe the menhir of Ergrau is the Bronze Age too, but
so these are axes.
You see that rock that you just whizzed your mouse over in the ceiling?
Yeah,
that is probably a part of these broken menhirs, and so they think they fell over in prehistory, and the stones were recycled to be the capstones in these passage tombs.
So this whole stone here was originally a menhir in the ground.
Yeah, Yeah, they think so, or like a part of it. You see when it fell, it snapped into several pieces. Maybe it's a part of the big one. I'm not fully sure on whether they think it was one of the other 18 or whether it was part of that one. But yeah, they think these monuments fell over in at least by the Bronze Age because they form the capstones of these tombs. So
Recycle, reuse.
yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle, Bronze
Yeah.
Age style. But
What's this symbol on the top? Is this an axe?
I think that's supposed to be an axe. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Apparently, there's something to do with the patterns of these matching up with one of the stones that fell over, and that's why they think it was recycled as well. Like so the artwork was sort of interrupted, and then they fit together. I think. I haven't done a full deep dive on this one, but that is, as far as I'm aware, why they think that is the case.
Awesome. I just as we're here, I thought I just want to basically show the Neolithic was full of crazy art. So this is at Nouth. It didn't make it onto my list, unfortunately. It is actually one of my favourite sites, but I think everybody's probably heard of it. But like,
I almost picked it too.
Yeah. But for me, it's like the art at Nouth is some of the most interesting part of it. Like all around the base of, I think, the biggest mound there are these stones, and there's loads of them, and they're all. I think there's more art at Nouth than there is in like almost everywhere else in Neolithic Europe or something. I read because there's just wild amounts of it.
Well, I mean, this may be the topic of the next video on my channel. These spirals there, these cup and ring marks.
Oh, awesome!
So stay tuned for the Stefan Milo, experience on that.
This is another one where they've somebody's drawn out what these things are.
Where you highlighted it with your purple pen, Pete.
Yeah, this was me.
Yeah.
This is why I'm not allowed back at Nouth.
Yeah. You've been banned from Ireland, famously banned from Ireland.
Exactly. Cool.
But I just wanted to pick that stone from Brittany because it's by quite a long way the largest rock anyone ever moved in prehistory in Europe. And maybe it's not famous because it fell over, but it's pretty incredible that this Neolithic society could move rocks, the size of ancient Egyptian obelisks, right? It says a lot about how many people were involved in these things. It's got to be a few hundred, doing these things, maybe even a few thousand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an incredible feat, for sure. So, I think we're gonna change it up a little bit here. We're gonna go to the other side of the world, and I will show you. This might be a really bad picture. Oh yeah, this is a terrible picture. Well, this is a hilltop enclosure. It stretches for 100 acres. There's 5 kilometers of earthworks. It's one of the largest hilltop enclosures in the world, certainly the largest in North America. And we don't know a huge amount about it. It's called Fort Ancient. You heard of this place, Stefan?
Fort Ancient. I think so, because do they give their name to like an archaeological culture?
They do, but the archaeological culture didn't build this place. The archaeological culture lived here, and at one time they were thought to have built it, but this was actually constructed by the Hopewell culture. And they thrived in what is now Ohio about 2,000 years ago, and they built these massive megalithic earthworks, basically. You might know of like Mound City, the Newark earthworks as well, are these other ones. And those ones are kind of circular and on ground level. This, for some reason, they went to a hilltop, and then they decided to like level out the edges of this hilltop and surround the entire thing in these walls.
Yeah.
Lots of them have moats as well, for some reason. So there's like water, but the moats are kind of on the inside.
Oh,
And
interesting.
they're not defences. This would be awful to defend. There'd be no way that they could defend this because there's like gateways, but they're just empty.
And it's a very big site.
It's absolutely massive. It is ludicrously big. And you go there and you'd be forgiven for not realising the scale of the place.
Yeah.
It's another one that I went to last year. I will make a video on it eventually.
You've been to all these places, man.
Yeah, been to some of them. What else can I say about Fort Ancient? Yeah, so it's completely wild. People basically put a huge amount of work into this place over many, many, many generations. And they were not agriculturalists. They were hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
So they would come here, probably seasonally, work at these earthworks. There's also mounds there. There's a stone circle there. And all sorts of like very interesting archaeological features spread out in the middle. Yeah, and they just put a wild amount of effort into this place over a long period of time. And when Europeans reached the place, we all assumed, okay, this is a hill fort. This is a massive hill fort. But no, it's not.
What in a year, in terms of years, when does this date to roughly?
I believe this is like 200 AD kind of time.
200 AD.
This is like 100 AD, 200 AD, 300 AD.
Yeah.
Kind of those first few centuries. Which I believe it's kind of like a climatic, slightly warm period. Because there's a lot of activity around about that point. It's kind of the same time as the Nazca lines as well, interestingly. So times were good until they weren't, because then obviously there's a collapse, and these guys disappear, and by the time Europeans got there, they'd long gone. Nobody knows who they were. Nobody knows what language they spoke.
Yeah.
What gods they worshipped. Any of this stuff. Not even myths survive.
That's a great one-sentence summary of all of human history. Times were great until they weren't.
Until they weren't. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else can I say about this place?
I was just curious.
It's a nice place to visit.
Yeah, it seems to be about 50 miles from Serpent Mound.
Yep, and that was, well, actually the jury's out on that one. It's debated whether it was constructed by the Adena culture, who come before the Hopewell, or whether it was Hopewell, or even Fort Ancient later on. What I think probably happened at Serpent Mound is that people added to it over like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool.
It is.
It's a big mound that looks like a serpent.
I know. I've got to get over there. I've never been to Ohio in my 10 years in His Majesty's colony of America. I've never been to Ohio.
I absolutely loved Ohio. It's kind of like Arch America. It's so American.
Yeah.
It's just so, I don't know how I can describe that, but it is just so American. You probably
Well, it is the home of the Logan brothers.
There you go. So. The most American Americans. Everyone's got massive cars. People just unironically drive around with like just looking like proper bikers. People wear cowboy hats. Cool place. And also all the trees kind of look European as well, which is interesting. You can see why Europeans enjoyed settling somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Although actually a lot of the trees are probably planted by Europeans to make it look like Europe.
they all brought them over from Hereford.
Who's that guy who would go around planting? Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed.
He would just go around planting like just thousands of trees.
Yeah.
Which is what he did.
Do you know what's funny? I know the name of like stories like that, Johnny Appleseed and whatnot, from living here in America. I have absolutely no idea if it's based on a true story. You know, I just heard of the reference, but I don't.
He's a real guy, but like, they're not really our stories, are they? We have our own guys like that in the UK that no Americans have heard of.
We have Paul Plumpip.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, by the time people like Johnny Appleseed came along, no one had a clue what this was. But there's a sad end to the story really, because these sites in Ohio, they're so incredible, but because there's kind of like nobody to speak for them anymore, they've been claimed by like Europeans, Atlanteans, lost tribes of Israel, you name it, anyone but the Native Americans.
Is that old Ignatius Donnelly getting
Yeah,
involved
exactly.
in there? Yeah.
These are very much it's like mound builder myth territory.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reality is, yeah, they were just built by these incredible Native Americans called the Hopewell culture, although we don't know what they call themselves. Hopewell was just, I think it was the name of the farm that the original site was found on.
Yeah.
So that just gives the name to all of them. But yeah, if you haven't heard of them, check them out, people.
There is a lot. There does seem to be
cool.
in North America, at least, like the two areas where there's like huge construction is like up the Mississippi. I don't know how close this is to the Mississippi.
It's not exactly next to it, but the Mississippian culture, I believe, made it to Ohio just about.
Yeah.
But that was slightly later because that's like Cahokia kind of time.
Yeah, Cahokia.
This is pre-Cahokia.
Okay. Oh yeah, because Cahokia is, I think, more like the 13th century, something like that.
11th century is when it kind of kicks off,
Okay.
and then the Mississippians continue afterwards.
Yeah.
But they had agriculture, so this is the interesting thing: completely different society, because they had maize-based agriculture, so they could have again a little bit like the Kofun tombs in Japan. Cahokian society was very unequal. It was like a top-down priestly class ruling everything, whereas Fort Ancient, it seems a little bit more egalitarian, possibly because they were just bands who would spend most of the time wandering around, and then they would probably coalesce at sites like this for like ceremonies, yearly or bi-yearly.
Interesting.
So that is Fort Ancient.
I had heard of the culture. I'd never associated it with a specific site. At least I'd heard of the.
This is a confusing site because it's also named. There's a later archaeological culture that is named after this site.
Yeah.
But the site was built by the Hopewell. It's confusing.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for people to understand, which it like doesn't do it any favors. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Oh, really?
I
did not know that.
It was only made one in the last 5 years.
Okay.
And there were high hopes for lots of new visitors, but I don't think it's had that many.
Ohio Tourist Board, come on.
Yeah.
You need to...
They're doing their best.
They're doing their best, probably, yeah. Under difficult circumstances, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, can we do... I've got one that's real in the neighborhood of this one. Can we do Lake Huron?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Which one do you want first? Do you want the sort of...
Let's do the underwater...
The divers.
Yeah. So these are rocks on the floor of Lake Huron. Huron? Am I saying that correctly, viewers? Lake Huron? One of the Great Lakes in America, in between, I believe, Michigan and Ontario in Canada. I'm not exactly sure where the position of these stones are in the lake, but either way, the fact that they are at the bottom of one of the Great Lakes means that it must have been built
aliens
by underwater aliens. Yes, thank you.
That's where you get the UFOs coming out of the lake, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
Sorry, I thought you were referencing something really specific there.
Let's move on.
But yeah, it means it must have been put there from before the lakes formed. So it's at least 9,000 years old, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, wow.
And what these rocks actually are, if you go to the other picture, is a little bit more easy to see it.
I'm so fast at doing this. So efficient.
Yeah. This is sort of a game drive. You can see the rocks sort of arranged in a line, maybe with blinds to hide people. Almost like the desert kites. I made a video on desert kites at the end of last year on my channel. But these would be to sort of funnel game into areas where it was easy to kill lots of them. And this is something that the Native Americans did quite a bit. In the West, they have a lot of these sites called buffalo jumps, where rocks and things like that would be arranged in these driving lines to force animals off the edge of cliffs, which was no doubt an extremely dramatic sight. And yeah, it just goes to show how old these practices were. You
see images of people driving mammoths off cliffs.
Yeah.
And that would have been not too far before this.
Not too far. Arguably.
I suppose maybe far. Arguably. So fair enough.
Well, arguably, if we are to believe the results of sedimentary DNA, mammoths were still alive, at least in the Yukon at this time. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. They did a sedimentary ancient DNA across like 9 sites in the Yukon of Canada. And I can't remember off the top of my head now how many sites came back with mammoth DNA, but I think it was about like 4 or 5 of the sites came back with mammoth DNA as late as like 5,000-6,000 years ago or something. So it could be that there were like still isolated populations of mammoths around.
I'd heard of there's an island in Siberia, I think it is, where like the last ones died.
Wrangel Island, yeah.
Was that the same time as the pyramids or something?
Even the mammoths were alive on Wrangel Island 800 years after the pyramids were built. Wow. The pyramids were a ruin by the time the last mammoths died.
So the 2nd millennium BC?
Yeah, around then, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
The
mammoths almost made it into the historical period. Like, we almost had mammoths.
The film 10,000 BC is factually accurate then?
If it was filmed on Wrangel Island, sure.
They have mammoths building the pyramids, I think, in that film.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? That's probably what AI thinks it went down into AI history videos.
Oh, man.
That are everywhere.
So this is really interesting, yeah. So there's a similarity there with the desert kites. Is that Arabia?
Yeah. Arabia, They really went crazy. They're sort of herding gazelle, it seems, for the most part. At least the buffalo jumps later on for the big, huge herds of buffalo that lived across the plains.
Wow.
And yeah, it's interesting.
So these are hunter-gatherers.
These are hunter-gatherers. Yeah, certainly.
Making their lives easier with technology.
Yeah. They just had, the smarts to think, why, these animals are so bloody spread out. Why don't we funnel them all into one spot and make it so much easier on ourselves? There's it's really interesting, actually, in another site in the Great Lakes, they found obsidian stone tools. So again, the fact that it's in the bottom of the Great Lakes means it's probably around at least 9,000 years old. And this obsidian had come all the way from Oregon, where I live. And as far as I'm aware, that's the furthest moved item in prehistory, these obsidian tools. Because it is Oregon to the Great Lakes is actually an absurd distance. It's like taking a rock from Russia to Britain.
Yeah,
basically.
So you cross the entire Rocky Mountains. Yeah, the plains.
Yeah, you've crossed.
Yeah, that's wild.
So,
do you think a single individual could have made that journey, or passing from group to group?
I think most likely it's traded from group to group, but
boring.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. But if goods are moving that far, I wouldn't put it past it. I mean,
there might have been one person who did it.
Yeah. You see that I had that interesting dilemma. When I went to Vietnam, there's like Roman coins that they found there. Yeah. And so it's like, did a Roman literally make it all the way to Vietnam?
There were Roman coins in Japan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think, was this an actual individual making this whole journey?
I mean, some of them Could have been. There is that. I can't remember the name of it now because I wasn't expecting to talk about this. But the sailor who went around the world, Magellan,
Yeah,
however
yeah,
you say
yeah.
it, he took a slave with him from Indonesia to act as a translator, and he sort of jumped ship when he got back to Indonesia. And so actually it wasn't anyone in Magellan's crew as such when they got back to Spain who had circumnavigated the world. It was the slave who had already been traded from Indonesia up to Spain and then on this voyage back across the ocean the other way.
Oh, so he was the guy who did it.
Yeah, arguably he made it
Yeah.
circumnavigated the world first, because when he got back to his home country, he was like, all right, I'm going home now. I'm not going to be a slave anymore. He could speak with the people on, somewhere around Indonesia.
Amazing.
So people did travel a long way.
It's stories like that. Obviously, they didn't have sailing ships like Magellan, but it's stories like that that do make me think of before we have records. What were these journeys that people were making?
Oh man,
I like to think that people were traveling big distances.
I think they were, because why not? There's something in humans that it's just like, why not?
There is, but also the benefits that you could enjoy from making a journey like that, because you can go and bring some exotic goods back to your people, and they'd love you for it.
Yeah, especially if you're a guy who maybe didn't have much going on in your area. you were like the fifth son of whoever.
Exactly.
Not going to inherit anything. Not going to get anything.
Wanting to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to Mars then, Pete, when the time comes?
I'll be there.
You will. There's not a lot of archaeology up there, man.
I'll be in the well, I've seen some documentaries on YouTube about faces on Mars.
Yeah.
No, hell no. I like Earth.
Yeah.
Earth is the best.
Everyone on Mars would be wishing they were back on Earth.
Yeah, they'll just be miserable. Absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
My word. Okay, right. So I'm going to go on to something that is a little bit similar to this in a way, actually. So this, as I'm sure many of you will know, is a cursus monument. So in ancient Britain, Neolithic Britain, before the stone circles, in fact, I think around about the same time as the passage tombs, people were also creating these huge enclosures. They're very narrow, and they're called cursus monuments, which was a name that was given to them because much later antiquarians in the 17th century thought they looked like Roman cursuses. So that's what they called them. But the actual... here's another one. Sorry, that's quite a bad image.
That's
the purpose of these
Stonehenge, though, right? Because it's got the tomb at the end of
this.
it.
Yeah, this is the Stonehenge cursus. The original one, that first one I showed, was the Springfield cursus. And basically, I think that is Stonehenge actually in the background. They are massive, and they're quite underrated because you can't really see them today. They are just sort of crop marks in the ground. And you might know better than me, Stefan. Are there cursus monuments on the continent?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or are they just in Britain? I don't actually know the answer.
I don't actually know the answer to that. I mean, we did mention Brittany. There is the huge avenue of stones.
Yeah.
That's not really what we're talking about, I suppose, with a cursus.
But anyway, they might be some great native British monuments. Brexit. I don't know. Basically, they're absolutely huge. It's a huge enclosure. And me being me, I look at this and I think, that's interesting. That is a little bit similar to what's going on with the Hopewell culture. And I think these are both kind of like societies that, this society in Neolithic Britain, they have a little bit of agriculture, but it's primitive agriculture. They're not like industrial farmers yet. They're still doing a lot of hunting and they're still doing a lot of gathering. And I wonder
Yeah.
if there's some kind of thing going on in a society that's an early society that's forming, that is still made up of many groups spread out in a wide landscape. If there's something about a place like this where they gather each year, kind of to have a festival in a way.
Do you think they would have been absolutely filled with people? People are saying I'm still crackling. Can the audience tell me, am I still crackling? I'm gonna make some noises. Am I crackling? Am I crackling? Blah blah blah. Let me know if I'm still crackling. Am I crackling to you, Pete?
No, you sound good to me.
Okay. Well, okay. So, do you think when these Cursus monuments were made, do you think it was like a full-on party, that like thousands of people in them?
Well, what I was going to say to you actually is, I've read some things that some people, I don't know if this is the mainstream view, some people thought they could be to do with corralling animals, which is kind of similar to what you were talking about with the Lake Huron. There's an idea, that maybe they might have corralled animals into these, and then they could easily kill them. So I don't know, Stefan. I don't know what was going on with these places, and that's why it's interesting.
There was definitely big feasting going down at these places. Big feasting. For
but,
sure.
But I think multi-use, surely.
Yeah.
Surely multi-use. You don't just use a church for going to church on a Sunday. You do all your things in a church back in the Middle Ages, you know.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, just keep your animals in it in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, because there is that. There have been those interesting studies on animal bones from Stonehenge, which show that animals are being brought there from even as far afield as Scotland.
Yes.
Yes, you got to keep them somewhere. If you're going there for a feast, you got to also do that somewhere.
Yeah. You go there. You go to Glastonbury, 3000 BC.
Yeah.
You bring all your stuff with you. You have your party. You have maybe you meet a wife. You trade. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of ideas going down.
I haven't even got to the site I was going to talk about.
Dance club, racetrack.
Exactly. So this is the Dorset cursus. So this is, as far as I'm aware, the biggest cursus of all.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the biggest prehistoric monuments anywhere. It's absolutely gigantic. And it stretches.
This is so big, though. I think that idea that it was for corralling animals, it can't be the case. This is
I don't think this one was. But you got to think maybe there were different uses for different ones. Maybe originally they began as that, and then they grew into something else, possibly over time. But maybe that's complete nonsense. But it's very big, and it's so big that you can really. People didn't know it was there until I think relatively recently.
Well, it's very subtle. This one.
It's very subtle.
It's very subtle. Yeah.
It's cool that it survives, though.
Yeah.
Also in Dorchester, or thereabouts, there is, I think it's the biggest stone circle that's ever been found, or one of them anyway. And it was absolutely gigantic, but it's essentially subterranean now. And it was like Avebury level stone circle in this place. So there's a lot going on in the sort of Dorchester area.
It does seem to be like there and Orkney are like the two poles of Neolithic Britain.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot going on in those two places for whatever reason. And even arguably taking a stone from Orkney down to Stonehenge, which is crazy.
Is that what's come out recently?
Yeah, at the end of last year, one of the altar stone at Stonehenge is from the Orcadian Basin.
Wow, okay. And then you have the blue stones from the Preselles, the other side of the island.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, really. Like,
it is. I mean, certainly people were making that distance.
Yeah, what is the sort of philosophy behind carrying a stone all that way? You know, you've got to sort of share a worldview, I suppose, with whoever was in Stonehenge, because you're part of this big communal project.
Does it represent a revered ancestor? Does it represent a group? There's got to be a lot of meaning in that stone.
Yeah. You can't move a stone that far for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's hundreds of miles. It's hundreds and hundreds of miles, and this stone is huge. So yeah, it is. People were definitely having. I'm sure if we could turn back the time, we would be shocked at the parties that were going down at Stonehenge and
I think so.
East Cursus.
I think so.
Maybe a little bit of cannibalism going down or something.
Cannibalism,
I wouldn't put it
psychedelic
past them.
drugs,
Yeah,
alcohol,
lots of all
alcohol.
of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It must have been pretty wild. Like, can you imagine just someone going crazy and just, I'm going to eat Kevin's arm. Ah. Yeah.
Poor Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, probably. In fact, I don't know about evidence of sacrifices at these places, like human sacrifices.
You know, when I said it, I was like, I actually also don't know that. But you do
it's speculation, isn't it? But, you know.
You do definitely see they were doing funny stuff with bodies in the Neolithic, like
yeah, for sure. They would live with bodies for a long time after they died.
Yeah. Like when they finally are seemingly buried in these tombs, it seems like the body is already decomposed, and they're just reassembling, you know, shuffling the bones.
Yeah,
and they're even making burials of composite humans. This is more of a Bronze Age thing, but have you heard about this?
Yeah.
That's crazy. When they like reassemble a skeleton, but with different parts of different people's bodies.
Aren't there examples of people being reassembled with some animal bones as well?
Ooh, I don't know about animal bones.
This might be from a different part of the world, to be honest, but I seem to remember that somewhere.
Interesting.
People certainly had a much closer relationship to the dead, that's for sure. We separate ourselves from it these days.
We're so disconnected from it, man.
We're incredibly disconnected.
I've never seen a... Oh, no, I have. I was going to say I've never seen a...
I'm not going to ask any questions.
I've never eaten a dead body, man. That's ridiculous. I'm 36 years old.
Moving on. Yeah, no, we're pretty insulated today. We don't have any connection with really the cycle of life, to be honest. I mean, most of the time, you barely even notice the change of the seasons a lot of the time. Whereas these people in Stonehenge times, they had to be into what was going on around them, because if you're not noticing what's happening, your family might starve.
They probably couldn't have avoided it. You know, there's
it's just natural, isn't it?
There's no TV. They're just in their environment and they're just noticing it.
Exactly. And then at nighttime, you study the stars.
Yeah. That's what we've really lost out, man, is the night sky, honestly.
For sure.
That's a really big blow.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine just
speaking of that links so well to my next one.
All right, awesome. Let's go.
Can we do Chanquillo or Chanquillo?
Oh, yes. Yes, we can. Incredible. This is Peru, right?
Yeah. Can we do one of the other pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a site called I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. It's a Spanish name with a double L. So is this Chanquillo? Is it Chanquillo?
I think Chanquillo.
Chanquillo.
Actually, yeah, it would be, I think, Chanquillo, because you have Trujillo. Chanquillo.
Yeah. And Paella. So Chanquillo, I'm going to go with that. Although that's very difficult as a British person to say. I want to say Chanquillo so badly.
I can see one of those blue signs here, which you see all over Peru, which signifies an archaeological site. And you'll be driving along a road and you just like look to the right and left and you see these on top of like every hill.
Oh, interesting. Have you been here?
I've not been to Chanquillo, but I've been all over Peru.
Yeah.
I've probably been past Chanquillo, to be honest. I believe it's like north of Lima.
Yeah, it looks like it's not too far from Lima.
Yeah, but you get these blue signs all over the place, and a lot of them are unexcavated. It'll just be somewhere that's kind of like been surveyed.
Yeah,
but not much has been dug. Sorry, carry on.
So this, I believe, has 13 towers, and we'll probably count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, 13
yeah.
towers. And it is a part of this ritual site, but only relatively recently did scientists discover that the sun rises between these towers at key moments in the year. This is actually a giant calendar.
You love it.
And yeah, as we were saying about the night sky, we're so out of tune with the movements of the sun and the stars and all of these things in a way that the ancient people just, it was just something they saw every day, or every day where it wasn't cloudy. They would see this incredible display, which probably in Peru, in the desert in Peru, is relatively, probably a lot of blue skies out there.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this is maybe me being wrong, or maybe me being generalizing. There is, someone is, I think we have someone in the chat from Chile, Civilización Perdida Chile. That I have seen the sanctuary next to it as well. There is another temple next to it, which I think was the first picture. I don't know if I had a very good picture of it. There's this a temple complex like a few hundred meters away, I think. Well, you can kind of see sort of ruins of temples and of buildings and stuff in that picture too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, oh man, when you're in Peru, it's kind of like you play the game of, is that a hill or is that a pyramid?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Very often, it's a pyramid.
Yeah,
it's a wild place. It really is.
I do feel like maybe I'm just being absolutely wrong here, but a part of me feels like when it comes to observations of the solar bodies, astronomical bodies, I feel like in the Americas they took it to the next level. You have this site Chanquillo, this sort of giant calendar, but also famously the Mayans were absolutely incredible astronomers. In North America, you have the ancestral Puebloans built huge calendars, whole sorts of ceremonial landscapes. I think maybe the Nazca lines are in some way connected to these sorts of things too.
So I've got something to add to what you're saying. There's a book called House of Rain by a guy called Craig Childs. Really awesome book. It's about the ancestral Pueblo culture in Colorado and Arizona, New Mexico, that area. Chaco Canyon being like possibly the center of that world, and it's full of all these astronomical alignments. Craig Childs specifically says in his book quite a few times that he sees the Native Americans as kind of like the most advanced Neolithic society on Earth ever.
Yeah, I can believe it.
That makes a lot of sense that they were obsessed with the stars, they were obsessed with astronomy, and they were better at kind of like realizing their visions than Neolithic Britain, for example, because they had much more time and energy and people by like, the 11th, 12th century to like realize these astronomical things that they wanted to do, make these kind of like like proto observatories. So yeah, like, and there's a lot of similarities.
Observatories. I wouldn't even call them
real, real observatories. Yeah. They were observing the stars from these places. Like, what's the one at Chichen Itza? Anyway, there's an observatory there basically, and it's like quite advanced. And like there's a lot of similarities between Neolithic cultures and the Americas. Super interesting.
It is interesting. There's just something about maybe it's something to do with the amount of time that these civilizations are sort of undisturbed. But it just seems like in terms of astronomical observations in the Americas, it's on a whole nother level. I know the sun, like at Stonehenge, is, these things are calendars too. But the level of the scale of the monuments that would be built to monitor the stars in the Americas it seems to be like nowhere else.
It's the scale of it, absolutely. Yeah. Chaco Canyon is ridiculous. It's like some of the alignments there. It's like, how did they even do that?
I
Things are,
know. These were the
and they have,
projects of a lifetime,
yeah,
probably.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Was one person, directing these things? Oof. Carry on.
No, someone, the civilization Perdida Chile has asked me to open a tab with the pyramid found in Chile, but I don't know how to do that. I'm not captaining the ship, I'm afraid.
Oh, let me. What's it called?
I don't know. I can't see the comment. He's asking to open a tab with the pyramid. I think I missed half of your comment. I'm not sure which tab you mean.
Civilización Perdida Chile. Can you please tell us the site and I'll Google it?
I did as well.
Sorry, you carry on.
Oh no! Just whilst we're waiting for this, I did as well email you the folder of rye stones, Yap coins.
Should we look at this now?
Well, I was just, whilst maybe we're waiting for that chap to comment, just letting you know that could be downloaded, potentially.
Cool. I'm downloading these now. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. The astronomical side of things in the Americas is completely wild.
It's on another level. Yeah,
it really is. The Maya have got to be the top for me of American civilizations. Big fan of the Maya, and they were really, really good at observing the stars and the movements of the heavens. And they would, they had calendars, and they would basically dictate their entire lives based on what was going on in the heavens around them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's someone spamming rude words in your chat, Pete. Someone called Shabbat Shalom. But
goodbye, Shabbat Shalom. Look at me, I've hidden someone.
There you go.
Real live streamer now.
That's it. Yeah. This is why I haven't done a live stream yet, hosted one, because I'm just too afraid of comments.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, sorry everybody in the live stream. I just don't know how to concentrate on two things at once. So I'm just speaking to Stefan.
Yeah.
I have downloaded those now, Stefan, if you would like to talk about them, or we can carry on talking about Chankio.
We can do the rice stones. I don't have too much to add about it. I just had the thought that, the astronomical constructions and understanding in the Americas was like nothing else.
So this is a rice stone.
These are rice stones. Yeah. Some on the internet you might also find them called Yap coins, because one of the islands in Micronesia where they are is called Yap. They're also found on Palau. I hope I'm saying that correctly. These are stones on Pacific islanders in Micronesia, and you can see people transporting them with a log in between them there.
Hole in the middle, very clever.
Yeah, and these are sort of megalithic. I mean, you can tell, I guess, from the name coins that these are sort of prestige items, right? They're traded at particularly significant moments in people's lives, maybe weddings, births, deaths. These are gifts. These are things to be traded, and they would they would be sort of carved on other islands and then transported to the island where people were living. So there was quite a lot of effort that was going into making and moving these rocks, right? And what is very, very interesting about them is that their ownership is, look at the size of these things, right? These are big, and these are being carried, as you can see, with a log through the middle by a bunch of guys. And so each of these stones has sort of oral history attached to them, which records the ownership and significant aspects of these rocks. It's all contained within the oral history.
Wow. So each of these stones has a story to tell.
I don't know if all of them are remembered, but these are still
Yeah.
still being traded. When this, someone will get married, a stone will be gifted. And
Amazing. So still today, this is happening.
as far as I'm
This
aware,
this is
still
a
today,
living culture.
this happens. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong.
Amazing.
And what's interesting about them is that when the ownership changes, they don't even often move because they're so huge. So the ownership isn't even connected to where they physically are. And there's one really interesting example that I heard sort of connected to that, is that one of these rocks was being transported to the island, maybe to Yap Island. And just before it reached the island, the raft capsized and they dropped this rock on the seafloor. But because you don't physically have to possess it to be in ownership of it, that rock is still like traded, right? Even though it's at the bottom of the seafloor, no one's seen it for centuries. That rock is still traded and stuff like that, because they know in theory that it exists.
Yeah.
And in a way, that is kind of like our modern money as well, right? Like none of our money actually physically exists in a bank account, but we all believe it exists, and
it's an illusion.
So we can trade with it. And
so these stones, are they seen as entities? Do they have an essence?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how the.
I'm going to have to read about these. That's really interesting. Yeah. I love something like this because it gives you a little insight into maybe what was happening in ancient Europe or these places where there's no stories left whatsoever. It just gives you a little insight into how the stories that we create, the amazing stories we create to explain the world around us. We're very creative.
All the Neolithic sites that we mentioned, to us, they're just a Neolithic site, right? And maybe we have a couple of later Arthurian legends connected to them or what have you. But to the Neolithic person, there's probably so many stories connected to these things, and,
of course,
and the people buried within them, and this.
Of course,
you're right. It does sort of give us a window into that world.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not that there's a huge amount of stories left from places like the Maya region, but there are some, and that I find that really interesting as well. So some of the stories about some of the pyramids are pretty wild.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's only 500 years ago or 600 years ago instead of 5,000 years ago. So some stories do survive. Like there's Uxmal, a story of a magician dwarf built the entire thing in one night.
Wow.
And it's like, is that just a crazy nonsense story, or is there something at the very heart of that has been passed down for 1,500 years?
I can believe 1,500 years. I can believe there's some element of
Yeah, I remember you made a video about the oldest story in the world.
Yeah, there is a couple of interesting stories where people have oral stories that seem to be of volcanic eruptions, and what's interesting about that is volcanic eruptions are very datable events scientifically, and they're very, very rare. So the example I had is of Crater Lake in Oregon is actually a collapsed volcano. The mountain fully collapsed in on its own magma chamber, which must have been an insane thing to witness. And the local tribe, whose name escapes me now, have a story of the mountain collapsing, and so presumably it has been passed down from that time.
Yeah.
Some people, the skeptics, would say like, oh well, they just worked out that this was a collapsed mountain, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You're not going to want to forget that the mountain can explode. It's quite an important thing to remember.
This would have been an insane volcanic eruption. Literally, a mountain collapsed in on itself and left behind this lake. That is going to be crazy.
You're not going to want to forget that.
You're not going to want to forget that. And also, when you go to Crater Lake, it's not obvious that this was a mountain. Like it collapsed so fully it does kind of feel like you're just on a lake.
Mm.
So I don't know that I buy that they could have just worked out that it was a mountain that collapsed. I mean, who knows, right? I wasn't there, but I think it's my personal belief is that it's a story of that moment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the idea that a lot of myths have something at the very heart of it that was something true, even if it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They get so garbled over time, don't they? Though, so everything just gets confused and lost.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. It's not. I'm sure it's not a perfect account of the day that mountain collapsed, but the
Yeah.
fundamental element of like that was a mountain and it literally and it just disappeared into that lake. I think
Exactly.
that is such a dramatic thing to witness. That's going to linger. You're going to make a story about that, like seeing something like that happen.
For sure.
But yeah, these Yap coins, they're still these. Unlike a lot of the things we've mentioned today, these are still in use. They are still traded. I don't know if people go to the effort of making them still, sailing off to these other islands and making them. But yeah. I also don't know that. But yeah, and it's just funny how even when they're at the bottom of the water, they can still be known to exist and can be a part of this trading system, even though no one can use it, see it, whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's not necessarily about possessing the physical thing.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing that I love about it is that even when humans live on quite small islands, Micronesia, a collection of very, very small islands, in terms of resources, quite a sparse area. I don't think anyone in Micronesia would mind me saying that, perhaps. In terms of resources, quite a limited area. And yet humans still find a way to create some object that has value, that can be traded, that can, like, we're really, we love to do that. We love to make ourselves a little bit different. We love to have the thing, the shiny thing, the new thing, the thing that's come from far away. And even in, small, isolated, resource sparse areas, we're still going to get up to stuff like that. We're still going to do stuff like that.
And we get really, really, really carried away with things like this. And it
might even cost you your life to go and make something like this.
We put huge amounts of effort into things that, discernibly, to modernize, there's no use for it. There's no need to do it. But to them, important.
Nothing could be more important.
Yeah, the most important. Yeah. What's an equivalent today? I suppose maybe like NFTs. What's like
I don't know.
What's a useless
there's
thing?
no effort that goes into.
No, there's no effort that goes into that. I mean, I suppose like art, but
you could think of art. Yeah, the modern art market.
What's a really, really, really time-intensive style of art?
Well, it's tricky
maybe like
nowadays, isn't it?
A hand-drawn anime film that takes 20 years to make or something.
It might have to be something like that, because we've got too many tools at the minute. We don't spend 6 months, a year, 2 years on almost anything. Do you know what I mean? Just on like a single act. I'm gonna this is what I'm gonna dedicate.
Most people anyway.
Well, yeah, maybe you with a history time video.
I'm still pretty old fashioned. I've still got videos that I've been working on for 5 years.
Yeah. By the time they come out, you've got to rewrite them 3 times because of new discoveries.
Yeah. But I tend to just add things in.
Yeah.
And that's how they get so long. But yeah, there's a bit of rewriting. Yeah, but also just events in the world are happening much faster now, which is interesting. Who was that guy? Francis Fukuyama said history is over in like 1999 or something.
Yeah.
And things just keep happening. I wrote a video about my trip to Hong Kong. I wrote the thing about 5 years ago, and I just haven't got around to making the video yet.
Oh, wow.
Revisited it a couple of days ago, thinking, I'll just add a little bit to the script. And I'm like, okay, no, it needs significant rewrites now.
Oh, no.
Because I'd sort of ended the video on the sort of like, we don't know what's going to happen in the future kind of thing. And it's like,
one day
very
Hong Kong
quickly,
will rejoin China.
Yeah, very quickly, a lot happened.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Do you know, I actually have kind of an optimistic take about AI.
Okay.
is that
Please make me feel better.
AI is going to so devalue everything digital that we're going to once again appreciate something physical. That's my hope.
Yeah. I already see this move back to analog with film photography and people having like a notebook and a pen, things like this.
Yeah,
So you think we're going to go lean more into that?
I think so. I think so because now when when you see a piece of AI work online, it's like, who cares? Who cares,
Yeah.
dude? It took you 2 seconds. Who cares?
But
Like,
give it 5 years.
but still, even in when it's so easy for someone to do something, it's devalued. Like,
The actual human voice maybe become more valued. Yeah.
yeah, or like, no one cares if you can do 47,000 times 386,492 because you just pull out your calculator and do it.
True.
And so
Oh, it
when
makes me feel sad for the mental maths people when the calculator was invented. I bet they were gutted.
they probably got it, but there's still people who love memorizing pi, and there's still
True.
like maths workshops that go down who
True.
do it for the love of maths.
Yeah.
And,
That's true.
and
True.
we're just like a YouTube short or something. It's going to be so devalued. It's whatever. But
do you think there are people out there having live stream conversations like this about maths and going between different mathematical equations and thinking about the future of mathematics? And
100%.
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like it doesn't do anything for me.
No, that my part of the brain is not tickled by that.
Yeah, I'd be asleep in 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
Then there's people who this is just absolutely drivel what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And they hate it.
Well, a lot of people listen to us falling asleep. I don't think we can throw the sleep brush around. Like,
true.
That's a bit pot calling and kettle black there.
It's true.
I think one of the first comments on this live stream, someone wrote it like the kings of sleep.
Let us soothe you to sleep
with
our voices of archaeology.
I don't know. Someone's just snapped awake at 3 a.m. and we're talking about AI.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, cool. Interesting stuff. So I'm going to continue with our. In fact, this isn't Americas, but I'll go back to the Americas. I'm not going to say a huge amount about this site, but we'll speak of it a little bit. This is the Great Ball Court at Chichen Itza. So Chichen Itza, everybody knows it from the big pyramid there, which is the thing that everybody goes to Mexico and takes a picture with. But the rest of the site is really interesting. And your average Maya ball court, your average ball court in the Americas actually is pretty small. It's like a normal size that you'd imagine people would play a game in. This one absolutely dwarfs every other ball court. And there's only one of them at this place, Chichen Itza. And it's basically the same, except it's way bigger. And it just makes me think, what was happening at this one that was different to all those other ones? Were they playing a different game? Was it for a completely different purpose entirely?
How many people are on the pitch?
How many people are on the pitch? Is this like 200 on 200?
Yeah.
Or is it still... I can't remember how many played. I mean, there's many variations of it, but there's one that survives today in Guatemala and Mexico called Poc de Poc. And they still play it today. There's actually the Guatemalan team are like really good.
I've seen people playing it. I can't believe they can hit this ball so high just with their hips.
It's absolutely wild. But even those guys playing in this, I don't think they could reach that, could they? I mean, maybe they could.
It seems
it's
really
ludicrously
high.
big. Yeah.
Oh, you think like is there some sort of different variation of the game? Because why does the pitch... I've seen people play the modern version and the pitch is quite small, right?
Yeah, really small. And most of the ball courts are really small. And it's all about the sort of ramp at the bottom. That's the important bit because that, like allows you to... The ball bounces off there. But yeah, this one, ludicrously huge. Look at the size of it. That's a lot of people stood in there.
Like from the perspective of this photo now, like let's say you're a player and you're on the position where this cameraman was, what are you doing in the game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're so far away from the hoop.
Really far away.
Like,
So
Yeah.
I wonder if it wasn't really used for the game. It was just kind of like symbolizing the same thing that the game did, which is kind of this it's like recreating a cosmic drama in a way. It's kind of like part theater, part sport, mostly theater really, and they're kind of like recreating this mythological tale essentially.
Mm.
It makes me think, was there like a different version of the retelling that happened here, involving a lot more people? I don't know.
Yeah, one of the people has commented, Crafty Spirit, gave you the idea that the loser of this game would be sacrificed. You do hear those stories, but I'm not sure if how true it is. Like, were the losers really sacrificed?
There are stories
There are
that the
stories like
losers were
that.
sacrificed. There are stories that the winners were sacrificed.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I think that there were variations for sure. There are some recorded instances of people witnessing, Spaniards, I should say, witnessing this game taking place. Diego Duran in the 16th century has an account of watching a game take place. But that was post-conquest, so they wouldn't obviously have been sacrificing anyone because the Spaniards wouldn't be very happy with that.
Yeah.
It was a brutal game, though. I believe in his account, he sees someone die in the game.
Wow.
Because it like smashes his side, it hits him in the wrong place, and then he dies basically from his wounds. And you also see all sorts of
by this ball.
Yeah, because the ball's very hard. It's a rubber hardened. It's like a massive cricket ball.
Yeah.
Essentially, and you have in the Maya tombs, for example, the founding king of the city of Copan. He's covered in like wounds all over his body. And there's an idea that he might have got some of them from the ball game.
Wow.
So it was important. It was important stuff. And also, I'm going on about this, but the Olmec stone heads, you probably know those, Stefan.
Yeah.
Lots of them have these little hats, and there's an idea that they may be like the gear that they would wear to play the ball game.
I had heard that. Yeah.
It might be wrong, but it's an interesting idea. All of them have these little hats, besides one, I think. I think there's only one that doesn't.
Yeah, because the Olmec is the Aztec for, like, the rubber people.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And
the oldest ball courts are, like, it's something like 1500 BC or something. It's, like, ludicrously old.
I've got to make a video on the Olmecs at some point.
Oh, you should.
So you should, man. A 5-hour banger on the Olmecs?
Definitely going to. I want to go visit some of their sites first. I haven't been to any Olmec sites. San Lorenzo, Laventa, two absolutely epic places. What was I gonna say? I had a point to make. Yes, my point was, I'm looking at this and I like to make these connections, and I'm thinking, were there any sports played at places like Avebury, Henge monuments, and things like this? Were there sports in the Neolithic and ancient places?
Because
he also, the cursus. Yeah, was it actually a racetrack or something? Because you look at this, it's not too dissimilar. I mean, it is quite dissimilar, but there are elements that are similar between this and, say, the Olympic Games in ancient Greece.
Yeah,
where it's a theatre of events. It's not just sport. It's like a whole drama playing out. And I think, cursus monuments. Is there some similarity? Or am I just talking nonsense?
I think that's not crazy.
Good. Yeah, it's good to think about these things.
Crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you seen Standing with Stones by the Prehistory guys?
I don't believe so, but I do love their stuff.
Oh, they're great. It's the thing that they made originally, like 25 years ago or something. But I always remember when they go to a Henge monument and Rupert Soskin is like, maybe it was blood sports.
It could be, yeah.
Maybe it was. we like a blood sport today still.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if when you're like gathering that many people together in prehistory and stuff, is someone inevitably going to die? Basically, I don't want to get your video demonetized, but
probably
is it inevitable? Yeah,
I would think so.
Interesting.
I would think so. So that is the Chichen Itza Great Ball Court. Did I have anything else to say? Not sure I did really. Yeah,
They
what
are
do you
huge. Do you
guys
think there was
think
people
was
on the
happening?
top of? Do you think there were people on the top of those walls watching what was going on underneath? Where do you think the crowd is?
Good question. I don't know 100%, but I do know that I'm pretty sure anyway. This thing in the distance was like an elite place to be, where like the higher ups would be stood.
Yeah.
It was a very ludicrously unequal society. So like the commoners, I don't know whether the commoners would be somewhere else for sure than the higher ups. The higher ups would be they'd have the best view.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For
The
sure. For
interest, the
sure.
Maya, it's kind of crazy. The elites, the commoners basically saw them as a different race of people. They thought they were touched by the gods. They thought they were kind of like actually, and the elites made themselves look different as well, with cranial modifications and all these kind of
Mm,
different ways
skull
to
binding and
differentiate
stuff.
themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Just like rich people today, man. Like,
Yeah, except it's difficult to tell now because you get your
yeah,
Mark Zuckerbergs and although no, he's changed his look now, hasn't he? He
he's
looks
cool
even more
now.
like an android now. He's
He
cool
wears
now, yeah.
he wears
Yeah.
necklaces. Yeah.
Yeah. But he used to have his just like hoodie, didn't he? You couldn't
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
All right. Should we do my last one?
Yes.
Ultima?
So I've
The
got two. I've
dolmen.
got
There
the
is two,
dolmen
but
of
I'll do the dolmen of Guadalperal.
awesome.
So this is all mine is so prehistoric. I can't help it. But this is another sort of Neolithic stone circle. You could see it if you went to Spain right now. You could see it because there's a bit of a drought. But every other time of the year, it's also at the bottom of a lake. But unlike the one in Lake Huron, that's because they built a reservoir and flooded the prehistoric site. So it doesn't predate the lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is there to say that we haven't already?
I think I
discussed
saw about this recently.
Neolithic people together?
Has this
Yeah,
been?
it has come. It's yeah. There's a drought at the
There's a
minute, so
drought.
you could go and see it right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Is this the first time it's ever been seen, or has it been seen in the
I
past?
think it's been seen once before, maybe in 2020, something
okay.
like that. But yeah, basically, if you want to go and see it, you've got to go right now because once the rain returns, it will be underwater again. And yeah, I don't know what there is to say about it because we've already spoken so much about Neolithic enclosures and what people were and weren't doing at these places. But just thinking of monuments that are very rare, this one is very rare because 90% of the time it's underwater. And it does seem to be quite an interesting array of circles, of stones. This seems to be very crowded compared to yours. Like the stone circles in Britain, a little bit more open. This seems to be a little bit more crowded, a little bit more intimate space going on here. And there's a similar site.
This is to me it looks more similar to like Karnak, but maybe I'm completely wrong there because Karnak is just loads of stones, right?
Karnak, yeah, they're all in a line, I think.
Oh no,
Karnak.
this is more sort of hodgepodge.
It seems more hodgepodgey, yeah, and it seems like the interior space is quite small, and
It's very small.
I had this interesting. This is about my next video coming out about cup and rings, but one of the, I had casually mentioned
Two cups, one ring.
2 cups, 1 ring. I tried to think what that's a reference to, but yeah, I had casually mentioned
just completely just derailed everything. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, 14-year-old me is shuddering again.
Sorry, everybody.
But yeah, I had casually mentioned like, oh man, imagine if you could go back in time and just ask these people, what they were up to and blah blah blah. And the archaeologist made an interesting point that, like, if you went back in time, they might not be able to answer that, because there are these sorts of elements of secret knowledge, limited knowledge. Only certain members of the community have access to particular stories and things like that. Maybe it's someone's job in particular to be the storyteller.
Oh, absolutely.
And
this is kind of a bit like the Maya, in the sense that people think the Maya had writing, the Maya had these calendars and all this. They did, but the only people who had any conception of it really was like 1% of the population.
Yes. Yeah. I'm reluctant to reference Apocalypto or Apocalypse. Is it Apocalypto?
Apocalypto.
Yeah, sorry, I almost said Apocalypso, but that's a lollipop.
That's the Tenacious D album as well.
It is. Yeah, but when there's like the priests and everyone are doing the human sacrifices, they know that the eclipse is about to happen.
They know it's happening. Yeah, absolutely.
And the other people in the crowd, the inference is that they don't, and there's all this sort of smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
That's really scary bit, that when they're all dressed up in the costumes and
in the blue body paint. Yeah.
But
I was just sort of thinking about that when I saw this stone circle with just quite a small space, and it doesn't just, when you see like Avebury or something, a lot of people can see what's going on at Avebury. A lot of people can see what's going on at the Cursus. Even Stonehenge, is quite big. But it does sort of have this henge thing, so it is probably limited in some respect, but it is much bigger than this. But in here, there's probably like 10 people who are seeing what's going on in the interior of this when it's going on.
So I'm struggling to see to me it looks like one person could fit in there, but am I getting the
there's probably a little, I don't know, there's probably a trick of perspective in there. I'm sure we could get there was some nicer pictures of taken by a drone, which gave a better thing if you can Google them. But
I'll see if I can get a different vantage.
But it still is quite a small enclosure. I don't know.
Super interesting. Oh, okay, here we go. This is another interesting image, because this is when it was a bit more flooded. And there's almost a henge around it, but I mean, I don't know if
there
that's
is.
just...
I don't know. I was wondering if this sort of henge around it was added. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, why add it? Because you're going to flood it. You're not protecting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is...
Do we know anything about ancient shorelines here? Would this have been permanently above ground back in the day? Really interesting place.
Let's see it on a map. How close is this? So this is almost perfectly in the center of Spain. So this is definitely not affected by sea levels.
Okay. Oh, it's a lake.
Yeah, it's a lake. Yeah. They built a reservoir and flooded it.
So humans flooded it. I see. This is a good image because you've got the size comparison. Here's a person. Yeah. It's a decent sized site, actually, seen from that perspective.
It's decent sized. Maybe I'm just biased by British stone circles. They seem to be bigger and more open.
Although, I must say, Stefan, the great circles are, so like your big ones, the Callanish, Ring of Brodgar, Avebury, Stonehenge, there are a lot of smaller ones as well.
Well, that's very true.
The majority would be smaller ones like this one.
That's very true. You're probably right. Yeah. But this
interesting, though, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just had this idea of, secret knowledge. Is there...
For sure. Esoteric knowledge passed down from one generation to the next. Yeah,
because there are people buried, for example, there's that tomb right at the end of the Cursus. And that's such a prominent location. You can't help but think the people in that tomb were of a different class to everyone else.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but that's such a prominent location for a tomb, right? In the end of this huge enclosure. And so maybe there is like this priestly class that has this knowledge, and the other people who are sort of gathering for the celebrations, they don't know so much about what's going on. I think that's possible.
I think that's possible. I mean, they would be the guys. It's It's Michael Eavis at Glastonbury. It's the guys running the thing.
Yeah.
They're organising the event.
Yeah.
It's the Rolling Stones, and I can't think of any other good bands. another good band.
Oasis. Yeah. Are you going to see Oasis?
I actually did go to see Oasis already. It was incredible.
You did? Oh, fair play.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. People either love them or hate them.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle. I don't mind them. I'm quite.
Yeah, I sort of am actually as well. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I used to work for a ticket.
Bangers,
they've got some absolute bangers. I used to work for a ticket company, and some of my mates still work there, so they can basically just get tickets whenever we want, which is really nice. So they were like, "We're going to Oasis. Do you want to come?" So I was like, "Go on then."
Yeah.
All these other people have these epic stories of just not being able to get tickets and battling to get them, but I'm jammy.
But you were part of the elite crew.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm one of the priestly class. Yeah, I've got access to the goods. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my last monument. I'll save the other one because that's the topic of my next video. So.
Well, you're going to keep your knowledge.
That's it. Yeah.
No, cool. No, that's good. Yeah, because we can wrap up on this last one. A nice couple of hours chat. That's good.
There we go.
What have I got last? Then? I'm going to go have dinner. So, I'll just quickly show this because I'd lost this one. This is what Fort Ancient looks like now. So if you're at Fort Ancient in America, that's what it looks like. It's like loads of them, like absolutely loads of them all built up. So we're going to go across the world to Finland.
Oh.
And we're going to look at the giants' churches. So all over northern Finland, I think possibly into Sweden, maybe even parts of Russia, there are these large megalithic-style enclosures from the end of the 3rd millennium BC. So it's kind of like 5,000 years, 4,400 years old, more or less, roundabout. And there's loads of them. They're all over the place. Again, they're built by hunter-gatherers. Again, there's evidence of feasting. There's all the good stuff that we've been talking about the whole time. There's evidence of it. And yeah, it's these again are people who, they don't have a lot. They live in the frigid, cold north, and still they're investing vast amounts of energy into building these massive structures. And it seems to me that there must be something in the human condition that makes us want to connect to other people and come together en masse in places like this to form societies. It seems like, to me, it's absolutely integral to being human.
Yeah, it really is.
And we see it everywhere, all over the world. And it's really interesting because originally, I suppose, yeah, there used to be an idea that at the beginning of everything, the reason why human societies formed, the reason why urbanized areas formed, was purely kind of like economic. It was purely because we domesticated plants and animals, and we went from there. What is really being seen in the last 20, 30 years, places like Göbekli Tepe as well, is that there's like a revolution in the mind that takes place before. People kind of like, they do this before they embark on the journey of agriculture. So they're already coming together. They're already building super impressive things together. And hunter-gatherers, there's nothing simple about them. They are wildly complex. Yeah.
Someone that made an interesting really comment on the video of mine one time. I can't remember what video it was, but we were talking about Göbekli Tepe. It's probably a one about ancient apocalypse and what have you. And someone was saying like, well, why did they gather together at this place and build this stone circle? And the person commented underneath, it's like, if you gather that many people together at a spot, they're going to do something like that.
Yeah,
Like we're going to do it.
It's what
it
we
would
do.
be hard for us not to. Yeah,
it's what we do.
Yeah,
we still do it now. We did it back then. We just get someone or some group has had a vision of doing something, and everybody else gets behind it because they're probably like a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
And we all just get really carried away.
Yeah. I think it's true. There's just as an aside, as we were talking about music, someone in the comments, Ozzy Osbourne died 1 hour ago. West Midlands man. Speaking of, hero of the West Midlands.
Good God. That is horrendous news.
Fine West Midlands man.
I'd say God rest his soul, but Satan rest his soul.
Yeah, I don't think God's got much to do with it. Yeah.
Oh, and I was going to just like put some Sabbath on, but that's a copyright infringement all over. That's really sad. I love Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Absolute animal.
A legend, yeah. A legend. He only just performed like a week ago, no?
Yeah. Oh, I'm quite gutted because we were going to go to see that, me and my mate, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Because even though he works at a ticket company, he could only get individual seats. So we would have had to sit like 200 seats away from each other. Oh, man. Gutting.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, he lived a life, didn't he?
He certainly did. What can you say?
Talking of esoteric priestly class, Ozzy Osbourne conducting events at a Giants church in prehistoric Finland.
Oh,
yeah.
He'd be there. He'd be there. Yeah, for sure.
I can imagine it. Be someone like him who'd be like, come on, everyone, we're going to build this.
Yeah.
I'm Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
I'm from Birmingham, so I'm allowed to do the accent.
He is, guys. He's from, well, I won't dox you, but he's from the most Birmingham part of Worcestershire. It's possible to be from.
It's not really Worcestershire. It's basically Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm from the actual Worcester, you know.
You're from actual Worcester
I'm
proper.
the real deal, yeah.
Yeah. You're a real Worcester-born lad.
But yeah.
And,
but it does make you think like about Ozzy Osbourne, you know, these charismatic folk. People, there's just some of these people that just have that charisma.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
And
I mean,
5,000 years ago, were they doing this? Were they the man in the center of this circle here?
100%. You get, religious leaders in historical times. I'm thinking, backdate that, and it's people like that, but also slightly nefarious people like a Charles Manson or something like that. You know, someone who can essentially control people, with his mind, basically, get them to do things for him. Because I could see him conducting some human sacrifices for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just get super carried away with things, don't we? But it makes me think, is there a similarity here between, this and stone circles and what was going on at Fort Ancient? Basically all of the sites I've mentioned besides the Kofun tomb.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of like a similarity. There's like a common thread between them, which is people coming together to celebrate and plan for the future. Yeah. And Stefan is lowering himself down.
I just had to stand up. My bum's got toothache.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, we can probably call it a day there. I'll go and get into my black suit, which I'll be wearing for the next 3 months in mourning over Ozzy.
Yeah. Apparently cancer, but apparently his last concert raised 190 million. I don't know if that's dollars or pounds for charity.
Bloody hell! So he already had cancer when he was performing, then?
I think so. Crikey. If I'm just skimming the headlines, so I'm not.
Wow.
So going out with a bang for sure.
Going out with a bang. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well. On that note.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, Pete. I'm a huge fan of yours. Okay, I didn't say that at the start, but I am.
Huge fan of yours too.
To the people waking up now at 3 a.m., go back to sleep. It's okay.
Yeah. And just put on one of my 4-hour history programs while you do.
There you go. Yeah.
You don't need to listen to it or watch it. Just leave it on in the background. Yeah, cheers.
All right.
And on
Thank
that
you,
note,
everyone.
I will end the thing if I can.